5-game win streak for the Tampa Bay Lightning. This one coming over a very good Utah team. Are the Lightning back for good? We'll talk about it on today's Locked On Lightning.
You're Locked On Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Lightning your first listen of the day. Every single day, we are your free daily Tampa Bay Lightning podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we want to begin with a shout out to our everydayers, those of you who tune into every single show, every single day. We love you. We appreciate the support you give us week in, week out. I'm Nick Morgan, and I am joined by the cookie to my cookie monster, Greg Stephen. Greg, happy Monday, my friend.
Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a safe and wonderful Halloween. I know I had a good time. And it was even better because the Lightning picked up another dub.
The fifth one in a row.
Pretty remarkable.
And it's coming against a great Utah Mammoth team, one of the best offensive teams in the NHL. Yeah. Lightning defense and Jonas Johansson were there to close the door all day long. We're going to have a recap of the game, plus a big clutch performance from a guy I called the MVP of the team last week, Anthony Cirelli. We'll talk about his clutch game. And that got me and Greg thinking, who are the top 3 Lightning MVPs this season so far? Who are the Lightning MVPs for the month of October? All of that coming up on today's show. But first, want to mention today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. All right, let's get to Tampa Bay versus Utah. We're going to dive into the recap for those of you who weren't able to see the game. Lightning coming down short early. Turnover at the blue line. Maybe should have been an interference call on Utah. Either way, leads to a Lawson Krause breakaway. Puts it past Jonas Johansson to make it 1-0 Utah. Later in the first, beautiful tic-tac-toe between the Lightning's 3 biggest offensive threats, Greg. Zemgus Girgensons, Emil Lilleberg, and Yanni Gord. Gord taps it into an empty net, basically, to make it 1-1. Second period now, Greg said it before, said it again. Face-offs matter. Lightning win in the offense zone leads to Anthony Cirelli's shot from the circle, 7th of the season, 2-1 Lightning. Third period, Utah tied up just a few minutes in, 2-2. Unusual rough defensive sequence from Victor Hedman there. 2 giveaways on the same shift. We'll talk about his performance a little bit more coming up, but leads to the game-tying goal. About 8 minutes left in the game. Greg, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Face-offs matter. Another Anthony Cirelli face-off win. This time leads to a Jake Genszel wraparound goal. That's the game winner. Brandon Hagel adds an empty netter late. It's 4-2 Lightning, 5th straight win for the Bolts. And as we mentioned, this time coming up a team that was first in the division coming into this game. Mammoth looking good, but you gotta love Tampa Bay coming through with a big win on the road against a very, very good team. Greg, let's start this off like we normally do with our plus minus. Give me a positive and a negative from this game.
Absolutely. First thing that comes to mind when I think of this game is plus JoJo. Wow.
Come on.
Excellent goaltending. Had some really clutch moments in this game. I think this could have easily been, 5-4 if it weren't for JoJo. I thought he played extremely well. He looks so sharp this whole season, to be honest with you. And I think he deserves the plus for this one.
I agree with that. Love his performance. That's the second performance in a row that I thought he's really come out and given them some good stability in net. I think Jonas Johansson has properly quelled the concerns about whether he was going to be able to be that spell piece for Vasilevsky full-time throughout this season. Okay, so give me a minus from this game.
I really think they played a strong game overall. That being said, the minus is going to just be the turnovers and the power play zone entry. Again, still, they're just so many times just trying to enter the zone, bad turnovers. You saw it on both power plays in my opinion. And I don't think the power plays looked particularly bad this time around, but still just a few seconds here and there where you kind of wish they were able to set up a little easier. And again, it's just the giveaways. The giveaways are not good. And we'll talk about that some more when we talk about Victor Hedman's performance. But
yeah,
just some bad turnovers. I think the second goal is almost entirely avoidable if you make a smart breakout play there. So, yeah, just carelessness with the puck overall is probably my minus.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I will say devil's advocate on the power play that I thought they got some really good opportunities on the power play.
Yeah.
This time. I think they only had 2, but I think that was their first one, and I want to believe right at the end of the first period. It might have been halfway. I don't know, but whenever their first power play was, they had a really, really good sequence where they just kept hitting rebound after rebound. Utah was able to shut the door, but I thought they played well. Like I thought that the actual offense, once they got set up, looked really good on the 2 power plays. They just need to score. Like they just need to finish. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of one of those things where we've talked about it a few times before. Like once you get one, I feel like it should get like the floodgate doors open, specifically from that top line.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with how deadly we know this top line is, it's definitely disheartening when they can't notch a power play goal every so often.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm going to get to my plus, and I'm going to say this because I know you never will, Greg. I'm going to give a plus to Emil Lilleberg.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Obviously he made a great pass, great feed over to Yanni Gord on that first Lightning goal. Loved him jumping into the play there. But to me, it's just I feel like he's gotten so much better during this 5-game win streak. Just one minor penalty during this 5-game win streak, and it came during the first win, the Anaheim win. I think he's played really good hockey, really clean hockey. He hasn't done a whole lot, but that's not an insult to somebody like Emil Lilleberg who's playing on that third defensive pair. His job is to go out there and not screw up. And I've said this before, I said it again. It sounds a little like facetious, insulting, but that really is what you want from your third defensive pair, is somebody that you can put up there and get good minutes and basically just not screw up. You don't necessarily have to jump in, create plays, be an offensive difference maker or anything that. You just have to go out there and play good, solid, sound hockey. Emil Lilleberg, I think, has been doing that this 5-game win streak. I thought he played really well last night, got a assist for his efforts. And yeah, I'm just going to call out another really strong performance from Emil Lilleberg, Greg.
Okay.
Please don't have steam coming out of your ears over there.
No, but I do want to play devil's advocate. The first goal is entirely on him. Rewatch it back. He's got to be back and covering that guy that's cherry picking. Instead, he kind of like slightly pinches in the neutral zone. Blown coverage, terrible. Other than that, though, I completely agree with you. One penalty in the last 5, like you said, and that's a reason these games are wins, because he's not just giving up a power play every so often. He does pick up an assist. Outside of that one goal, he did look great. I don't disagree with you, but that one goal is entirely on him in my book.
Are you talking about the turnover?
I'm talking about Lawson Krause goal, first goal of the game.
I don't think that
he's got to stay back and cover.
I'm rewatching it now. No, okay. There's no way. I mean,
you got to be back.
He was on the other point. Gage Gonsalves got nailed from behind. He was covering the left side. That's where the breakout happened.
But like that first D is pinching in the left, and he needs to be responsible and come back if he sees a guy flying. Like that's just.
I don't think he was pinching. I think the D just got hit. I don't know.
That's a good thing for everyone else to let us know. Whose fault was that?
Yeah, I respectfully disagree. I don't think you can put any blame on Emil Lilleberg for that one.
Okay.
Is
the minus Emil Lilleberg?
Do what?
Is your minus Emil Lilleberg too?
No.
Oh,
No, but it is another defenseman whose number starts with a 7. And this is a very rare one. And this is Victor Hedman. Victor Hedman during this 5-game win streak, his overall played really good, really
yeah.
solid, strong hockey. To me, just had a lot of weird mistakes last night. Even if you go back and watch the first Lightning goal, the one scored by Anthony Cirelli, I guess that was the second Lightning goal. But if you go back and watch that goal, he almost just fumbles that puck at the blue line. It was almost a breakout for Utah the other way because he couldn't get a stick on it. Did kind of, it was able to poke it back into the zone, and that set up the play that led to Cirelli's goal. But the play you're talking about, the game tying Utah goal, watch Victor Hedman, and that was like a highlight reel. Like, we're used to seeing the amount of mistakes he made on that play spread throughout the course of Victor Hedman's 82-game season. And that's kind of rough. In the blue line, loses the puck, kind of like a weak clear, winds up getting taken on the boards. Puck goes back behind the boards, gets it again, whiffs on the puck again, then finally gets a stick out on it. It goes straight to a Utah player. They're able to create the play that leads to the game tying 2-2 goal. So just kind of weird, uncharacteristic mistakes, I think, for Victor Hedman throughout the game. 5 giveaways, led the Lightning last night. He scored a point, so good for him. But yeah, it's just not kind of the solid defensive play we're used to seeing from Hedman.
Yeah, I mean, 5 turnovers on his own is more than a third of the turnovers for the team. So not so great. And like you said, that was an awful breakout. Like, he had, I think, ample opportunity to either hold that puck and make a better play, or just get it off the glass and get it out at least, or even ice the puck would have been better. Yeah, tough game for him. But like you said, I think he's been playing well. I think this was just a bad game for him. So, but he does deserve the minus from this one. I agree with you.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Sue, somebody else who deserves a big plus for this game. Anthony Cirelli coming through in the clutch yet again. We'll talk about his big game, plus what else stood out during this Lightning 5-game win streak and in yesterday's game against Utah. A lot coming up on today's show. We'll have more for you when we come back. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, hockey is 1 month in, but guess what else, guys? The NBA is back. Oh, God, it's so good to see the teams back on the hardwood. There's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or just want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score the next basket to whether your team is going to mount a fourth quarter comeback. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push towards a victory. Here's something else exciting. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's right. All you have to do is put down $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Again, FanDuel.com to download the app and place your first $5 bet. Today's episode is also brought to you by Monarch. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, and investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. It's helped me organize my accounts, track my spending, and get a better handle on my investments without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. It's so easy to use. All I have to do is upload my bank account information. I just link it straight so it updates automatically. Credit cards, 401ks, all of that, and within seconds. I get categorization of my spending so I know where my money is going. I know how much my investments are worth, and it makes it easier to plan out concise goals and understand where my money is going and how to make it work harder for me. So don't let this financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. Again, monarch.com/code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. Welcome back to Locked on Lightning. Nick Morgan here alongside Greg Stephen. And Greg, one guy that I want to call out is Anthony Cirelli, who is coming through in the clutch yet again last night. The big thing for me, first and foremost, I said it during the recap, face-offs matter, but comes through with two huge face-off wins in this game, both of which lead to the goal for the Lightning. We saw him on that first play that led to the 2-2 goal. We saw him on the face-off win that leads to the 3-2 goal. He also scored on that first sequence. His 7th goal of the year, leads the Lightning. I said this last time, Greg. It just seems like whenever Tampa Bay needs somebody to step up and make a clutch play, whatever the situation, Anthony Cirelli is usually that first guy who's there to do it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think he's been deadly. And I think we all know this, but he's just so elite defensively as well. And I think that's one of the most important qualities to a strong forward is just being able to play defense just as well as you can play offense. And not only does he have 11 points on the season right now, but he's also +7.
Yeah.
And that's the best on the Lightning by 3. So I just think he's so reliable in every situation. I mean, like you said, he won some draws. I mean, he notched a goal, and he's playing just great defensive forward. And look at the penalty kill. I mean, I think the Lightning are 3rd in the league. Let me triple check. Yeah, they're 3rd in the league on the penalty kill, 90%. And he is a huge reason why.
Absolutely.
And I think being +7 while being on the penalty kill constantly is so impressive. Like, I just think that that's remarkable. As a guy who's always out there shorthanded, and you're still the highest differential on the team. I just think that is remarkable. Really, it is.
And I know you don't get a mark against you for plus minus if you're scored on the penalty kill,
Right.
but I think it still highlights just how solid Anthony Cirelli has been this season. That he's able to play big minutes on the kill.
Yeah.
He's able to go out there in clutch offensive situations. He's just a really, really solid all-around player. And I said it last week. I think he's the MVP of the team right now. You and I can debate this on our 3rd segment when we talk about this, but I don't think throughout this season how sort of up and down it's been. I don't think you found somebody who's been more of a constant lock into this team than Anthony Cirelli this year. That's my take.
Yeah, no, completely agree with you. Actually, I mean, I think you look at this lineup, and there have been some strong performances from a few of these guys, but overall, yeah, he is certainly the most impressive right now. I think I finally caved, and I think he is the guy right now for the Lightning.
Yeah. I know you wanted to talk about this too, Greg, but we have to talk about goaltending again, because look, we've talked about Vasilevsky has finally hit his stride. I thought we saw some really good saves from Jonas Johansson in this one. I feel like any questions about goaltending, whether they were about Vasilevsky's health, whether they were about Jonas Johansson's quality, I feel like the Lightning have answered them these past few games, Greg.
Yeah, I think so too. Vasi started 0-5, right? Or did he start 0-4? Either way,
did he get
really improved.
I can't remember who had that Boston win.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it was Johansson. I think you're right. I think it was 0-5 for.
I'm pretty sure it was 0-5. I mean, let's just say for argument's sake that it is. That means he's on a 3-game win streak. Vasi himself, JoJo is 3-1 on the season, which is just great. And as a backup tender, he's only letting in 2.78 goals against on average, and his save percentage is, 916. So JoJo,
that's very good.
Silencing the haters. He's silencing the haters.
It's me. I was a hater.
I think a lot of people were haters, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've been defending him for over a year and a half now. I mean,
You have.
I think
Yeah.
he's just a great goalie. I do. And I know sometimes it doesn't look like it, but you got to remember how awful sometimes this team is defensively.
Yeah. And, I think sometimes when there's a backup goalie in play, I think maybe just the thing with JoJo is, he'd make his fair share of great saves, but there's always like one or two goals a game that you look at and it's like, I feel like Andrei Vasilevsky would have saved that one. I haven't seen that from JoJo this year.
Mm-mm.
You look, neither of those two goals last night you could pin on Johansson.
No.
One's a breakaway, one's just result of a turnover at the zone that kind of, unset the apple cart a little bit. But
yeah, and it's not like the Mammoth dumped a ton of shots, but he 27 shots is not a low amount either.
Yeah. I want to ask you this. Jonas Johansson obviously playing well. We've talked about maybe the concept of, Andrei Vasilevsky doesn't need to play, 65 games this year. I'm prefacing this by saying it doesn't need to be an even split. I'm saying that right off the bat, but are you in favor of maybe lightening the Vasilevsky workload a little bit and giving JoJo more of a bigger share of the starts for the Lightning?
Yeah, I mean, I am. I think they kind of look like they have been doing that. He's already played 4 times, and I know they've had a few back-to-backs already, so it was kind of a forced hand, but they've only played 12 games and he's played 4 of them. So yeah, I think he can eat more games than we probably thought he would. And honestly, there have been games where I think he's looked better than Vasi. So I don't see the harm in him playing more than what we are used to seeing, like 50-30 even in my book. I think he can do it. And I think the more you play him, the better he's going to get, right? I mean, that's just true of everything, but it's also just the repetition and not having large gaps in games. I think that really hurts goalies. You want to stay in the rhythm, stay hot. And if you make him play one game, make him sit 12 and play another one, he's not going to be that strong in that next one because he's probably in his head a little bit, 1, and 2, he's pretty cold. So I think playing him a little more consistently is actually better for everyone. So yeah, I think he could eat more than what 15 games. I think he can eat more than that.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And I think you kind of see this come into play later in the year. Because I know, if in close division races and stuff, you tend to ride your number one a lot more. But I do feel like maybe managing some of that now maybe keeps Vasilevsky fresher for that deep playoff run where he's going to probably have to play 2-3 games in a very short span. That leads us to this discussion. Who is your MVP for the Tampa Bay Lightning right now? We're going to have our top 3 for you and debate them when we come back. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Hockey season's officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be honest, folks. Getting tickets can be a total nightmare. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that seem to jump right before you hit checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. It's the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. And it's not just hockey, folks. There's basketball tickets, baseball, football, concerts, comedy shows, theater tickets. You want to see it? Game Time has deals for you. Whenever I want to go out and either go to a concert or a sports event, whatever, the first thing I do is check Game Time. What you see is what you pay. There's no hidden fees at checkout. So the price I see when I'm scrolling is the price I will pay when I pay. Plus, I love seeing my exact view of the seats before I hit buy. That's the cool feature of Game Time. All you have to do is pick a seat, pick a section, and it'll tell you the exact view from that seat so you don't get stuck behind any weird columns or anything like that. Plus, their zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats for you, the best value, leading to some big savings. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. We're back on Locked On Lightning. Nick Morgan here alongside Greg Steven. And Greg, interesting debate going on right now between you and I. Started on Friday's show about who our MVP for the Lightning would be. So now that we're a month into the season, we finally hit November, which that's kind of a weird thing to think about. That year has gone by super fast. But we're into November. So let's look back on October and let's rank our 3 Lightning MVPs in order. So you go first. Give me your top 3.
Okay. Number 1, I'm going to go with Anthony Cirelli.
Oh, you changed that from the last time we did this.
Yeah. He just looks so good. So consistent, and I'm not going to beat it to death because we just went into him pretty heavy, but yeah, I think Cirelli's number 1. Number 2 for me right now, probably Jake Genszel. I think he still just looks so good. I mean, he has absolutely nullified the hate that he would be not that good without Crosby and all this nonsense. And we talked about that last week too. But he still has 12 points. He's positive in the differential. He's impacting every single game. Every shift you see Jake Genszel out there, it's him. He's grinding out there, and I respect that a lot. I think he is number 2. And number 3,
this is where it gets tough.
a name that I would never have guessed I'd be saying as an MVP right now, but how about Yanni Gord? Mitchell Chafee, get him out of here.
I love the Gord pick, though. Go ahead.
It's Yanni. I mean, he looks so good. Like, I really didn't think he was going to have the impact he's had at his age. And I would argue he was a better return than Bjorkstrand right now. I mean, I notice him every shift, just like I said about both these other guys, but he's flying. He's so fast. You can see the effort on every shift. He just loves being on the Tampa Bay Lightning. It looks like since he was traded back, he has just come right back to life. He looks like he's 25 out there. And he's had some really clutch moments too. And he's +4. And at his age and what his role really is for having 4 points only, Yanni number 3.
Yeah, I love that pick so much because I'm with you. I love Yanni Gord. I almost put him in my top 3 because I look at him and I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's doing everything that you wanted him to. And I think, honestly, with Nick Paul being out, I think Yanni Gord has had to play a little bit of a bigger role than even the Lightning thought he would be playing
right
season. But he's not shied away from it at all. And it's gotten to the point where, look, he's cooking so much on that third line right now, especially the chemistry he has with Oliver Bjorkstrand, that you look at this and it's like, I when Nick Paul comes back, I don't know what the Lightning are going to do.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have to shuffle something because I don't think you want to break up that Bjorkstrand Yanni Gord pair right now.
Agreed.
Yeah. I'm going to go number 1, Anthony Cirelli, for all the reasons I talked about at the top and all the reasons that you just talked about. I can't say it better, so I'm not going to try. For me, number 2, I'm with you. I think it's Jake Genszel right now.
Nice.
And I will add to what you say a little bit, because I do think the energy that Jake Genszel has brought has been consistent throughout sort of the up and downs of the season. Even at the top of the season when we were talking about, okay, Kucherov for some reason doesn't look right now. Braden Point looks a little bit off right now. We've always said, but Genszel at least looks solid.
Yes.
I think that's kind of been the key thing, is you've never looked at him and said his game is off.
Right.
I think that's kind of been the big thing for Jake Genszel, is he's been able to sort of roll with these ups and downs. We know he's changed lines a bunch this season, and he's never looked out of place a little bit. And obviously leads the team in scoring right now with 12 points in 12 games, 5 goals, second on the team in goals behind Cirelli. I just think the energy for Jake Genszel has always been there, no matter where he's sort of fallen in the lineup. And then I'm going to throw a name that we haven't talked a lot about, but you said Yanni Gord, and I don't want to be unoriginal. So I'm going to go Ryan McDonagh on this one.
Oh.
I almost said Pontus Holmberg too.
Nice.
But for me, Ryan McDonagh on the blue line, I think, is somebody that we haven't talked a lot about this year. Him and Eric Chernak both, but he's done so much so well. And especially on the penalty kill. I think he's been a major part of the penalty kill. We never talk about him because he just doesn't make a lot of big mistakes. Right. He's never out of position. He's always been reliable, but you've talked about some things that have been hard for the Lightning to get going this year. I feel like Ryan McDonagh has sort of been that calming presence on the blue line. And you look at him, he's scoring like it's 2014 Ryan McDonagh. I was
going to say that.
Yeah, I feel like we just pulled that trigger on that Rangers trade, 3 goals, 3 assists this year. Yeah, I mean, he's just done a lot of things so well, and we never talk about him because he's one of those players that unless he sort of scores a goal or has a bad turnover, you don't really notice him a whole lot during games. But you go back and re-watch the games and, watch his shifts, and he's always, getting his stick in the right place. He's always kind of making the other team's offense a little bit boring because he's always in a passing lane or he's always taking away a guy that's cutting to the front of the net. He's just always in the right place at the right time. And I do love the play that I've seen from McDonagh this year. So I'm going to give him that 3rd spot.
Completely agree. And if you told me he'd have 6 points through 12 games, I would have called you a liar.
Yeah, I think he's outscoring. He's outscoring some big names on this list. So, yeah, but I just think he deserves a little bit of credit for how well he's played this year. And you know what? There's so many others too. Like Pontus Holmberg, you could easily put on this list as well. I mean, who knows where Hagel guys are going to be this year.
Hagel looks great recently.
Yeah. After a really bad start, Brandon Hagel has been on fire. It's just there's so many people, especially during this 5-game win streak, that you could point to, and that's a great sign. For the
what we need to do tomorrow?
What do we need to do tomorrow?
Tomorrow we need to talk about the 3 players you're most concerned about.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's more than 3 I'm concerned about.
I can bring 6 if you need me to.
There you go. Okay. All right. So let's talk about maybe some things to watch, your players to maybe improve upon.
Yes.
One is Mitchell Chaffee. No. All right. Yeah, we can do that. Maybe not concerned, but 3 players who you want to see more from.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, there's tomorrow's segment.
Yeah. I have a lot to say.
Yeah, we have. I'm sure you do. It's all about Emil Lilleberg again.
No, it's not. It's not actually. He's not going to be one of them.
Okay. It's also Tuesday, so as we preview tomorrow's Colorado game, let's do some Hot Take Tuesday and dive into some hot takes from both the Lightning and across the NHL. So there you go, folks. A lot to look forward on tomorrow's show. In the meantime, you can follow us on social media, Locked on Lightning, everywhere you scroll. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to us, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcasting platform. It helps us out and it helps keep you guys in the know when we have new content out for you. That's going to do it for us on today's Locked on Lightning. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. Back with a new show and some Colorado Avalanche preview tomorrow. We'll see you then.